What are you doing with this lollipop?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Is this your car?
of course.
You don't even want to do a video in your own car? You're going to have Hector do it?
Yeah, please.
All right. Nick Apicella here from ResoNix Sound Solutions to do another competitor spotlight on Leonardo Leal with his lollipop, but he doesn't want to do a video, so he's having his buddy Hector do it for him.
Hi.
So tell us about this car and this install and what you're doing here and where you guys are from.
So we're from Mexico, originally from Monterrey, Mexico.
Okay.
I relocated to another city, but Leo still lives there. And he has been a long-time competitor. He has brought quite a few cars over the last years. How many? 4 cars? 5.
5 cars.
5 cars. 5 different cars.
Wow.
In the last few years.
Is that enough, you think?
I don't know.
All right, maybe we'll do more.
Maybe one more.
Maybe one more.
Maybe resurrecting one.
Maybe resurrecting one of
Maybe
them.
resurrecting one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is, even though it looks like an S4, this is actually an Audi A4.
Okay.
I mean, it looks fast, but it's just a 1.8 liter turbo vehicle.
Okay.
This system is trying to use most of the OEM locations for the speakers.
Okay.
And promote the full usage of the trunk.
Yeah,
So-
this looks incredible. So tell us what's going on down here.
Okay, so if we start with signal routing, I mean, we have 2 different head units. One of them, it's the Alpine style that was designed for this vehicle, and the A5 and the Q5. But we mostly use the player that it's embedded into the SAP processor.
Oh, you have the Zapco
Yes.
tucked away right in the side there?
Yes, and it has all the upgrade packages, so it's coming with the ESS Pro DACs.
Okay.
And pretty much, I mean, we went through the 2 upgrades, first with the Asahi Kasei and then with the ESS Pro.
Yeah.
Then signal routing goes to 5 amplifiers. So, original plans from this car, it had a different system that was using rear fill and center channel. Rear fill is gone because we installed 2 infinite baffle subwoofers
Okay.
hanging from the rear deck.
Yeah, I see that here. What kind of subs are these?
These are Claros 15s.
Okay,
from
hybrid audio?
Hybrid audio, yeah. And we're using the 5 SAP amplifiers. It's one Z150.4 AP and 4 400.2 AP.
Okay. Very cool. What's going on over here on the right?
On the right, we have the chart. Well, this is where all the fuse boxes are behind
Okay.
this panel.
Yeah.
And it's just in a custom bracket on top of the distribution block, the OEM distribution block from the vehicle.
Okay.
The battery is just under the amplifiers. It's the OEM location for this vehicle.
Okay.
So nothing much was modified there other than the fusing and the wiring and the access to the charger for the power supply.
Okay.
That it's at the bottom. We're using the 4 amplifiers to feed tweeters, mid-range, mid-bass, and subs. And we're using the 4-channel amplifier there to feed the front subwoofer, which is running the footwell for the passenger. It's a shallow 10-inch subwoofer over there.
Yeah, so let's go up there and see what we got going on.
That side.
All right.
So here's the subwoofer enclosure here.
You got a little plexiglass window, it looks like?
Just to show it, but Leo typically is driving this car alone, so normally there will be no passenger, but it's a little bit uncomfortable here on this side.
Yeah.
The OEM panel was modified just to release all the energy between the panel and the speaker.
I see that.
So it's just a little bit of trim and also the grill for the for the mid woofer. But in the end, it's just the normal position for the OEM position for the speaker.
So this sort of frees up energy from the door panel.
From the door panel.
So to prevent resonance and rattles, stuff like that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks really good. And the flock, this is done in flock?
Yeah, that's flock, yes.
And the color matches really well. That looks awesome.
The OEM speaker is an 8-inch, so we went down to a 6.5 inches because there's no 8s, at least on this series.
Okay.
The tweeter is mounted on the OEM location, although on a larger pod because it wouldn't fit under the OEM one.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, and we had to enlarge the OEM locations for the speakers because from the factory the car comes with a 2.5-inch speakers, and now it's fitting a 4-inch one.
Okay.
So we try to make it look as good as possible.
Really interesting. I'm going to try to get the camera in here just so people can see. So the mid-range is sunken in pretty good.
Yes.
So what kind of modifications did you have to do to get that to work?
We had to remove the windshield and then cut into the dash, then pretty much
have fun.
attach,
from there.
have fun doing a mounting plate for the speaker, and then of course the grill and the trim for it to look good.
Yeah.
So that was most of the work, but it was concentrated.
I actually did something very similar in my car, and worked out well.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
happy
working
with it.
really good. It's
Yeah.
working really good. I mean, the speakers are playing all the way to 5K,
Okay.
from 200 to 5K, tweeters from 5K and above, 200 to 80 on the mid bass. The front subwoofer is just playing 1 octave, so it's going from 40 to 80, and actually no, 32 to 80, a little bit over an octave.
Okay.
And 32 and below on the two 15-inch subwoofers at the back.
Okay.
As I mentioned, the head unit is just the Alpine style head unit, so it's specifically for this type of vehicle in the Q5.
So this is an Alpine aftermarket radio?
Yeah, it's an Alpine aftermarket radio.
Oh, I didn't even know that existed.
They don't sell it in the US. Leo
Europe?
had to order it. I believe it was from Spain because in the UK it comes from a right-hand drive. The only thing that was added is this string piece that mounts on top of the OEM one.
Okay.
To be able to fit the screen over there.
Gotcha.
And we lost the cup holders.
Okay.
In order to mount the remote control for the DSP and also the interface for the player.
Yeah.
So this is where two cup holders used to be.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what's happening.
So it's a
inside here.
it's a really beautiful install but it's mostly pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work, obviously, like the dash, it's not so simple like pulling a windshield and doing all that, but it's not big, it's not bulky, it's not crazy. Do you find a reason to keep things simple, or do you find a reason to not go crazy, or is this just what worked in this situation, you think?
Well, in this case, we wanted to keep the car using stock locations as much as possible.
That was a goal.
That was the goal.
Okay.
Before we had the front subwoofer, this was Leo's daily driver.
Okay.
So the main reason was for it to continue being a daily driver.
Yeah.
A car that he would find fun to drive, etc. The first time we brought it to competition, we didn't know what to expect. The car did pretty good, and
Cool.
he said, "Okay, let's develop it."
Yeah. And then it spiraled out of control from
And
there.
yeah, and it spiraled.
Now
out of
he's
control.
bringing 5 cars.
Well, it's sort of been of a process. So we started with the S3 that most people know.
Yeah.
Then from the S3, I believe we added a GLI. The GLI did really good. It took first at finals on its
really?
debut. Yeah.
Very cool.
Then we further developed the install on the red car, and then we brought a green bug that was a 1972 Beetle. You remember that was really loud.
Yes, I remember
Really loud.
that. It's funny. I was actually filming a similar video of Scott Bowalda doing the last install presentation on Black Betty at 2019 finals.
Right.
And someone turned that thing up. And
Well,
we
it was the
had to
judge.
I know.
Judge. I was like, okay.
I know. No, we found out it was the judge, but Scott was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, guys, I can't hear anything. What's going on? Like with the interview, and the green bug was just jamming. That thing was crazy.
Yeah.
And the install was really nice on it. I remember.
Yeah, it was. It had a single 15-inch right at the front of the
Yeah.
vehicle, where the trunk is at the front, and the old Beetle, right?
Yeah.
And I believe it was using the Legatia X line, so it was the 6, the 3-inch, and also the tweeters. But it was a pretty fun car.
Cool.
Then he brought their blue Jetta as well. That one just competed that day.
Okay.
As soon as he was back, he sold the car.
Okay.
And then that's when he started this vehicle.
Gotcha. So let me ask you a question. You said this vehicle was developed.
Yes.
It wasn't a one and done install.
No, this is the 3rd version of it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Throughout all of these versions, what was one thing that you learned along the way that made the biggest difference in here?
Speaker location.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So where did it start, and what
It
kind
started.
of
It started with the A pillars, fitting a 3-inch there, but we were facing a lot of issues with reflections. I mean, we have a lot of reflection there, but being
they're more
so
controlled.
they're more controlled.
Yeah.
That's the first piece of learning. The second.
So it's not as simple as just sticking a mid-range
No.
on a pillar and throwing a bunch of Bondo on it.
No.
Okay.
That was the first one. The second, all the rattles. I mean,
Deadening.
once you sound deadening, and it's not only sound deadening. All the clips and fasteners for the car. I mean, you start
Sound treatment.
you pull it apart, bring it back, pull it apart, bring it back. Then you need to put new clips on it.
New clips.
Every single
Isolate
time
them.
you tear it apart, you need to put new clips on it.
Yeah.
That's another learning that we had there.
I think that's a big thing also, like when I hear a lot of people's cars that are relatively new to this, the difference between someone who is new to it and it has a crazy install versus someone who's been doing it a while and has sometimes even a more subdued install is you'll realize in the more experienced person's car that there is no sign of rattles or resonance or anything of that sort. And I don't want to be the guy that's trying to like promote people to buy sound deadener because I own a sound deadening company, but like it is. I think people undervalue what its importance truly is.
Well, here's the thing. So sometimes we're always trying to get the bass up front, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the wavelength is so large that it exceeds the dimensions of the vehicle. So any cues of you feeling the sub at the back is a resonance.
Yeah. Any rattle, any resonance.
It is a resonance. It is just pulling to your attention to the back.
My whole thing is if you can feel the panel moving it, you can also hear it.
Well, yeah. If it's vibrating, it's energy being released and transferred, and you can hear it.
Yeah. If it's moving, it's generating sound.
Yeah. That's it.
That's always been my rule of thumb. Like if you're wanting to go crazy, treat it until it can't move.
Yeah.
And that's
when it starts becoming 3-dimensional.
Yes.
Once all the resonances are gone, then it starts becoming.
That's what I noticed in my car as well. You know, my car was always good, but it wasn't. I was like never. It's like wow. Like I know I'm good at tuning. I know I'm good at installing, and I know I have really good equipment. But it's not to the level that some of these other cars are at. It wasn't until I picked apart every little piece of my car and made sure it didn't rattle or resonate till I got to that. Oh. This is real.
Yeah.
This is a real sounding car. Like this car is very good. And again, not to be the guy that's like shamelessly plugging it, but I do think people are undervaluing what that truly accomplishes. So.
And another lesson is like it's not only about mass loading when it comes to resonance. I mean, there are very, very different materials depending on specific application, and we need to learn how to use them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Plain and simple. What's another thing? What's another thing you learned along the way?
Well, tuning, the tuning process, I had to refine it several times.
Yeah.
I had to learn what to listen for in music as well. I had to learn how different reference systems deliver a different experience and how to replicate it in a vehicle and how to downscale it to this size.
Yeah.
So everything is proportionally located in the stage. So that was another one.
Cool.
So,
and I guess last question is to anyone watching this video who might be interested in coming out to an event like this, whether to spectate or to, compete, what kind of advice would you give them? Someone who's never met anyone from one of these, and wants to come and experience something. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing is look for a show near you, that it's near you. Attend, talk to the competitors, ask for demos. They will welcome you. Everybody will welcome you to listen to their vehicles, and that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's how it started for me.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, that's how it starts for everybody that I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everyone here is always willing to help and hang out and give demos. So
I mean, we have had issues right before judging, and I have had a lot of friends just help us. I mean, even if we're competing against them, they will help us get it ready.
Yeah. It's
and
a
then get the car judged.
really friendly environment. Any thank yous to anyone before we end this and wrap this up?
Well, I mean, first, thanking all the organizers for all these events. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to meet and,
Which, by the
talk
way,
to each
is
other. Yeah.
IASCA, EMA, and MASQ. Thank you to them.
And of course, to my friend Leo, that's trusting me with the design and tuning of his car. So
Yeah, cool. All right. Any last words before we get out of here? That's
no,
it?
I mean, you don't want to listen. Do you want to listen to it?
I'm gonna go get one more
Okay.
video,
So-
and then I'm gonna go around and do some demos.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I
Have a good day,
appreciate
man.
it. Thank you, and good luck.
Likewise.
All right. See you out there.
Yep.